Hello plant people, it's Nora the Leca Queen. Thank you so much for joining me today on my channel. Today we'll be looking at my Philodendron Micans. This is my Philodendron Micans. You might remember a few months ago I had a bargain buy and I probably bought this Philodendron Micans, if I recall, for $5. Now I chopped this up and I put this in a Clonex clone solution to root, and the cuttings are now ready for potting up, and I am going to put this Philodendron Micans onto a moss pole. But before I do that, I'll show you what the plant actually looks like at this point. So I've had this plant sitting in a nutrient solution. So this is one of the plants. So I reckon this root over here is actually one of the original soil roots, but you can see that this section over here, this is a completely new root and it's got this as well. So this is what I call a primary root and this is what I call a secondary root. And that's one of the parameters I use to determine whether my cuttings are good for potting up. So this one is definitely ready to go. I'll show you another one. This is another cutting. So all these are brand new water roots. And as you can see, you've got the primary roots there and you've got the little secondary roots as well. So this cutting as well is absolutely ready to go into Leca. And I've got another one here that also, hang on, that one there has, that primary root has a secondary root there. So I reckon this one's good to go as well. And I did get quite a few actually. This one as well, very ready to go. So you can see this is actually a root that's come off. This is one of the original soil roots that's come off. So that's fine because these are actually water roots and you can see the color of them is different. They're a lot lighter and they're a lot firmer. They don't slough off when I touch them. So that's how you know. So this one here is actually the original bottom part of the plant. These are the original soil roots. You can see they're a lot darker compared to the new roots that have come on now. But look, I'm tugging at them there and they're absolutely firm. So those roots are accustomed to being in that hydro environment now, and that they will be quite happy to go into Leca. So what's happened over the weeks that this plant has been sitting in that is that I've actually been changing over this solution. Every week or so, I'll get the plant, take it out of this bottle, wash it out. And in that process, the dead soil roots or the ones that are sloughing off get off. And what's left is the roots that will either thrive or the new roots that are coming through because it's been sitting in that solution. So what that means is when I put my plant in Leca, it is then more likely to survive. This is the long method that I discussed with you in my earlier video. If you haven't seen that video, click on the link above and that'll take you straight to it. So it's just a way of making sure of getting some added insurance that your plant is actually going to survive the transition. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put these cuttings onto a moss pole and I'm going to put that moss pole in Leca and I'll show you how I do that. A moss pole that I made earlier, that's my moss pole there. And as you will know, I do like to attach my cuttings to the moss pole before I put it in Leca. It just makes things a little bit easier and it allows me to position the roots away from the moss and make sure that the roots are going to be sitting within the Leca and not above. So I've got this cutting here and I am going to place this like so. So you can see this is where the roots are with the mesh and the moss starts here. So these roots will not be exposed to the constant dampness of this moss. So I'll put that one there. I've got another one here. So I want to do the same thing with this one. So that is going to be like that. I want that to be there. And this root over here I want that one to start there. So that's going a bit sideways. It does get a bit fiddly, this process, but you need to make sure you get it right because this is really, really important. So there, those are that way. What's my other one? I've got this one. So I'm going to put this one over here. You can see that's there. Do I want to put another one? I do have quite a few cuttings here. I probably won't use all of them. So I've got this one here. I'll probably put this one there. Okay, and then I've got my plant tie. That's my plant tie over here. So smooth surface next to the plant and, oops. So smooth surface next to the plant. Rough surface is what's going to actually tie. And, oops. All right, so smooth surface next to the plant. Rough surface is what's actually going to tie. And there we go. So that's what I've got there. Those are my cuttings attached to my moss pole. I will arrange them a little bit later just to put them in the exact position I need them to be. But for now, this is what that's going to look like. I will now get my pot. That is my ventilated grower's pot. And I will put my pole in the pot. And I will now fill that pot up with Leca. And of course, my Leca is pre-soaked in Clonex clone solution just to keep those roots happy. And I fill out the bit at the back, turn it around. So this right here are my Micans cuttings that have been attached to the moss pole and are now sitting in a pot filled with Leca. So this is my Micans pole. Yeah, looking very happy. I will rearrange those plants and make sure that they're all leaning against the moss pole. I will then put this in a reservoir with Clonex clone solution just to help the roots keep going. And then after about a week or so, I will switch that over to foliage focus and just watch this plant grow, 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 grow. So yes, everyone, that is my new Philodendron Micans moss pole, and I will keep you updated on how it goes. And as you know, I make all my own moss poles, and if you'd like to learn how to make a simple moss pole like this one, click on the link above and that'll take you straight to it. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.